So I once had this conversation with somebody at the gym who actually worked there. And she and I have always had this back and forth connection, back and forth, chemistry. And this one day I was working out legs and she was walking through the gym, doing a little walkthrough. And normally I don't have headphones in when I work out, but this day I need a little extra push, right? But after I was getting warmed up, she came by me and I just felt this time it aligned for us to have, this type of conversation. And what we talked about was the art of thoughtful communication and reflecting. And she expressed how ever since she started working there and she met me and she started talking to me, like I always challenged and sparked the brains of the workers, right? Because, at any given restaurant or gym or grocery store, they'll have the same responses. Hey, how you doing? Feeling good? Okay, have a great workout. Okay, have a good one. Have a great rest of your day. It's the same type of responses, and that gets very autonomous to anybody. Well, if you're not a robot, that is. And so we were talking about this right in front of the squat rack, and she said that it angers her how people don't understand the power of a thoughtful conversation. She wouldn't even say anything. She wouldn't even say anything if it didn't involve something that was worthwhile, And I agreed. I agreed with her. And I began to speak to her about the difficulty of your spirit, the difficulty that your spirit lies in whenever you repetitiously have this autonomous conversation with people throughout your day, because then what happens when you go home, when you decompress, you don't feel anything. Why? Because you have had conversations that don't lead to anything. It's just a group of nothingness conversations. It's very aimless. And that depletes the soul, that depletes your spirit. So, if you're walking throughout your days and you live in life and you're not really having conversations that are worthwhile, anything of substance, anything of value, anything of metric, like it should hold something. Maybe not to me, but to you, and you ask questions about what they like and what they love, like that's beautiful, that's awesome. But if you're not having those conversations, guess what? Your soul and your spirit dies. It withers away. Because the spark, the light, the joy, the star, it dissipates. So when you run across somebody who is pretty thoughtful, right? Knows how to think. No, like actually knows how to think. You're flustered. You glitch. That's what I was telling her. A lot of people glitch whenever you start to have actual thoughtful conversations with them. Because, oh my God, I never had nobody. Or they haven't had it in such a long time where it's almost repulsive. And I know y'all felt that before, right? Those y'all who attempt to, challenge people and just, switch things up. So like, for instance, for example, when I go to Chipotle, which is Chipotle, I go to Chipotle and, they're, hey, how you doing? Well, don't even say that, really. They go, what would you like? Especially if they're busy. What would you like today? And I go, hey, how you doing? And they go, sometimes they may, be monotone, pissed off at work, ready to go home, ready to get off, which I understand. But they'll say, would you like a burrito or a bowl? And I'll say, what would you recommend? Glitch them, right? Even though I'm going to get what I'm going to get, right? I glitch them. So just sparking their mind, opening up their mind just for a second, because that's timeless. What you can do to somebody and for somebody today could make their week, could make their month, could make their year, right? And I've been a firm believer in that. That's always been my philosophy, because I understand how lost and how, strangers feel so alone. You know, we begin to be strangers to our family, to our friends, to our partners, even to our coworkers, and we with them every day. How that happen? Because thought less communication, thought less conversations. They wither out your soul. So you don't really have no time to experience joy, fun, and you wouldn't know what if it hit you in the face, because it's been so foreign to you, it loses value. So that's what I would do if I'm in public. A lot of times, I'll spark up a conversation just to make it about them, or stir the narrative that's like, upbeat, high vibrational. And so I really want y'all to take in that the more you reside in a state that is autonomous, very repetitive, is the more you will become robotic, the more you will become stagnant. Really, you'll become stagnant. And why? Because, yes, I'm not saying scheduling, organization is not important. I was once a person who was not about planning. I was a spontaneous traveler, a spontaneous doer. Like, if I felt like going to another gym today, guess what? I would buy another membership, or I'd pay the one-time fee. I pay the daily fee, $20, $10, whatever, and I do that. And I meet a couple people, meet somebody who really sparks my brain, and it was refreshing, right? I'm still like that, but also I do have my shiz. I do got my stilo that's strictly for me. The gym I go to, the stores I go to, and I've opened my brain to being more routine based, organized, and scheduled, if you will. But with the robotic thing, if you lack identity, you'll lack depth. I'm gonna say it again. If you lack identity, you will lack depth. And if you lack depth, you are a surface featherweight. You are a surface level feather. And what you say don't weigh much. It don't weigh much in people's hearts. It don't weigh much in people's minds. And it damn sure don't weigh much in people's everyday speech. Like, what you say doesn't make somebody else think. They don't even try to regurgitate or use something great or not great that you said to change their speech or change their vernacular. Don't even work like that. And so the more we put ourselves in these situations and we have thought-provoking conversations, it's like you charging your phone. When you put your phone on the charger, when you put your Apple Watch on the charger is there to instill more life, more juice, more battery into your device. What things can you do today, yesterday, that will give you more juice, more battery, more life? Put that in the comments. What can you do? What do you do that will instill that will empower that? Most people don't know. Those who have a lack of identity only have one or two things, and that's old news. Those who are renavigating and refiguring themselves out have a new list of things that can give them juice, give them spark, give them fire, give them air, give them life. Instead of thinking about one, do both. Do both. You don't gotta just do one thing. Do both. Know what's the primary? Sure. Do both. Because that will instill so much more wisdom into your life. Because you're experiencing that. You know what it's like to be on this side and to be on this side. You know what it's like. You know what it's like, dog. Oh, yes, you do. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And so, there has to be spaces. There has to be spaces in which you take the time out to where you can speak to people, you can converse with people, and you can just have like an hour, 30 minutes in a day, once a week. Start off with that. Once a week, 2 times a week, whether it be on the weekend, one time on a weekday, one time in a weekend, where you can go to a place and have just at least thoughtful energy around you. That's why I love going to Barnes & Noble. I just ask questions to people. I was at Barnes & Noble a couple months ago, and I had this conversation with this chick, and I had a conversation with this chick who was, we were at the philosophy section, the philosophy and social studies and religion side of the store. And she was a black girl around my age, and I didn't get her number. It was no flirtatious, it was just a great conversation. We talked for like an hour. She told me about her family, her sibling, like she's basically the bread caregiver of her mom, and she had difficult situations with her younger brother being pacified by the grandparents and her mom, and she had to fight her a lot. And I heard her, I received what she was saying. She damn near cried, but it was a back and forth ping pong conversation that was very thoughtful. It was very thoughtful. I didn't get her number, get her Instagram. We hugged. Excuse me. We hugged at the end of our conversation and kept it pushing. I'll never see her again. But I know how much that did for her because I know what it did for me. Just hearing her. And she mostly shared, her life and her situation more than I did. But that's okay. We're not no narcs around here. We're not no narcissists. We don't got to, incorporate our life into everybody else's shit. Like, just hear somebody else sometimes. Just listen. Being an empathetic listener also entails what it is to have thoughtful conversations. What it is to embody the art of thoughtful communicating and reflections. Like, it's beautiful. Any of y'all who go to poetry slams, like poetry halls, book signings, like, that's awesome. That's awesome. That's so awesome. I've never been to one yet, a poetry slam, nothing like that, but man, the people you meet, right? Who you situate yourself around is so important because it instills life. It instills fresh air, a new air that's not outside, that's not in your home. It's different. It's rejuvenating, revitalizing for sure. So just use this information to practice this habit of thoughtful conversation. Now, it don't got to be every single conversation. As one of the comments in one of my videos told me a year and some change ago, JB, when you are around your family for holidays with how much you know, aka with how much you think you know, do your best to turn your brain off. You know what Thanksgiving really is. It's not a time of being of being thankful. That's what we Americans have drawn it up to be, or they have drawn it up for us to be. That's not what it stands for. Christmas, we know what that shit really is. We given this day Come on, you know, just turn your brain off. Enjoy your family. Enjoy your grandparents. Enjoy your family being together. At least we are together. Now, if you are a family that, you know, have instilled and practiced, have instilled and practiced this curriculum already, then, you know what time it is. So y'all probably go to the park, or y'all just, do something that's different from your average American Christmas or Thanksgiving or 4th of July, right? You do something totally different, which is great also, but turn your brain off. So, yeah, you don't got to do it all the time, but practice this habit at least, once or twice a week. And then the more flow, the more momentum you pick up, guess what? You want to have these conversations just about every day. You want to be around people to ping pong and piggyback off of the shit that you're saying and thinking just about every day. But it's gradual. So I love y'all, man. Thank y'all for watching The Art of Thoughtful Conversations. Thank y'all for watching this video. Keep taking care of yourself. Just be simple. Get your merch. Link is in the description. Until the next video, until next time, it's your boy JB, and I'm out.